Salt Bae, from gold steaks to cold takes. Salt Bae has officially gone from sprinkling salt on gold-covered steaks to sprinkling failures all over his career. This is the same guy who used to hand-feed celebrities like some culinary deity. Instagram worshipped him. TikTok copied him. The internet couldn't get enough of that iconic elbow flick. And now, he's being kicked out of stadiums, sued by his own staff, and ghosted harder than a bad Tinder match. So, how did the internet's favorite meme chef turn into a full-blown social media disaster? Stick around because Salt Bae didn't just fall off, he face-planted off a gold-plated cliff. Before the fame, before the memes, before the lawsuits, he was just a Turkish butcher with good knife skills and a suspiciously flirty way of seasoning meat. Then one viral video later, boom, he's the salt-sprinkling messiah. Suddenly, that elbow flick became sacred. Celebrities were flying to Istanbul just to eat overpriced beef, and Salt Bae was posing like he'd personally invented the cow. But here's the thing. He didn't go viral because of the food. He went viral because he was the vibe. Sunglasses, silence, gold leaf. He turned dining into performance art. Problem is, the internet doesn't do long-term relationships. And once the meme got old, so did the man behind it. The downfall began at the 2022 FIFA World Cup final. Argentina had just won. Messi was crying. History was made. And out of nowhere, Salt Bae appears on the field like he got lost looking for the bathroom. He grabs Messi's arm like they're best friends, forces a selfie, and even lifts the actual World Cup trophy like he scored the winning goal. FIFA was so furious they launched an investigation and banned him from future events. His excuse? I didn't know the rules. I love Argentina. I love football. It was an accident. Sure, man. And I accidentally showed up at my ex's wedding. It wasn't just embarrassing, it was global humiliation. And he still didn't learn. Fast forward to the 2025 Champions League final. He shows up again, uninvited, dressed like Turkish James Bond in a tux and shades. This time, security wasn't playing. They kicked him out on camera while the internet cheered like it was a penalty shootout. But Salt Bae couldn't resist the plot twist. He posted later saying, "I wasn't kicked out, I was just passing by." Yeah, sure. Because everyone casually passes by the VIP section at midnight in a tux. And then came the PR disasters. He served $1,000 gold steaks to Venezuelan dictator Nicolas Maduro during a food crisis. Millions were starving while Salt Bae was feeding their leader like it was the Hunger Games Dictator Edition. Then, before opening his Miami restaurant, he posted a tribute to Fidel Castro in Miami, home to one of the largest Cuban exile communities on Earth. It's almost like his PR team's only job is to think, what's the worst idea possible? Meanwhile, his empire was quietly collapsing. His London restaurant lost nearly half its profits. Miami was flooded with complaints. They should rename it Yelp Bay. Boston's branch got shut down for safety violations, and Dubai's once-packed hotspot now looks like a food court at a dead mall. They even started offering £39 lunch specials just to fill seats. And reviewers weren't kind. More show than substance. Like ordering a Ferrari and getting a lawnmower wrapped in foil. One YouTuber even reviewed his Bodrum restaurant. Beautiful seaside view, Saturday night, prime time, and the place was emptier than your wallet after buying one of his gold burgers. 40 staff members standing around waiting for guests that never came. And the fine dining, paper napkins, stained cutlery, and a salt shaker that looked like it survived 3 world wars. Sure, you can cover a steak in gold, but if your tableware looks like it's from a roadside cafe, you're not serving luxury, you're serving delusion. And speaking of delusion, remember when he bragged about a customer's bill that totaled over 600,000 dirhams? That's not dinner. That's college tuition. He wasn't selling food. He was selling flexes. Instagram bragging rights. Influencer bait. But even influencers have limits. Once people realized they were paying thousands to eat a clout sandwich, the tables turned, literally. Now nobody wants to dine where the gold steak is less digestible than the receipt. Behind the glitter, darker stuff was happening too. Several former employees sued him for wage theft and abuse. One claimed he took 3% of all tips. Others said he controlled passports, humiliated staff, and fired anyone who spoke up. One even compared him to Tony Montana. Not for the style, just the dictatorship vibes. That's not a restaurant. That's a cult with steak knives. And remember that Istanbul fire stunt? 4 customers literally caught fire during one of his flashy flame shows. A Russian model suffered 3rd-degree burns on a third of her body. And Salt Bae's reaction? Delete the footage. Pretend it never happened. No apology, no statement, just silence. That's not PR. That's self-destruction. And it gets worse. In Miami, one man ordered a regular steak but got served the gold version. When he refused to pay for it, Salt Bae's team called the police. Yes, actual cops over a gold steak. Imagine explaining that in jail. Why are you here? Oh, I didn't want to eat shiny meat. That's not a crime. That's taste. Today, Salt Bae's empire is hanging by a thread, and not even the expensive kind. His follower growth has slowed down. Engagement has dropped over 70%, and his restaurants are bleeding cash. The brand? Washed up Uncle Energy. The kind still flexing on Facebook. But he keeps posting, still twirling knives, still posing dramatically like he's in a steak-themed perfume ad, still pretending it's 2017 and people care about his elbow flick. But the applause is gone. The audience moved on. Because Salt Bae wasn't just a chef, he was performance art. A meme that got too much power. And when the seasoning stopped being funny and the scandals started being serious, there was nothing left. No humility, no accountability, no flavor. He could have used his fame to train chefs, improve food, build real restaurants, but instead, he wrapped mediocrity in gold and called it luxury. Now the world sees the truth. The gold's worn off, and the only thing he's seasoning now is his own downfall. So yeah, Salt Bae didn't just fall off. He lost everything: fame, respect, and the meme magic that made him. Because when your entire career is built on illusion, ego, and clout, eventually, the internet stops watching, and you're left with nothing but overpriced beef and unseasoned controversy. Would you ever pay $1,000 for a steak just for Instagram? Let me know in the comments. And remember, viral fame isn't a business plan. When the internet moves on, you better have more than a meme to fall back on. Peace.